What's up, Transformers fans? I'm Mondo and welcome to this Moonbase 84 transmission. And today we're going to check out the Transformers Studio Series 86 Windcharger. But real quick before we do, if I could do some YouTube begging and ask you to click that like button, subscribe if you're new, and all that jazz, I'd really appreciate it. To kick things off, here we have Windcharger in his alt mode, looking very, very cool in my opinion. He looks like he leaped off the screen pretty much from the G1 cartoon. He is like a stubby Trans Am, I believe he was supposed to be, but much like the Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, squished down version of that. I've always loved how he had like the bigger tires. I just always liked Windcharger's vehicle mode, as well as Windcharger himself, because he was one of the first Transformers in G1 that I ever had as a kid. Yeah. He's got that very jacked up, raised up muscle car look, which is cool. And we'll take a closer look. Of course, he is almost entirely red. I love that Autobot symbol. Nice. I like the white on the red, the white outline on the red. What I don't really like is I don't like when Decepticon or Autobot badges are divided because of transformation. I just think it looks a little ugly. But you have some nice design work, some blue windscreen in the windows, the black louvers I think they're called in the back. Not much going on for like tail lights or anything. Some nice painted rims, which is always cool, and the front grille, which is really nice. I like that. Just breaks up all the red basically. But yeah, he rolls pretty decently, even on my surface, which vehicles don't like to roll very well on. So that's cool. So yeah, nice little Trans Am alt mode. For comparison, let's bring in some of his mini-bot compatriots. We have the Studio Series Brawn and the Studio Series B, who is a hot mess, my copy. I'm having a lot of trouble. I think I mistransformed him, but you can see the size. Windcharger also comes with two accessories. One I have underneath, and that is his gun. And just ports into the side here. It's kind of a shame that you can't port it this way to make a tailpipe, but it is what it is. Not much I can do about it. And he comes with his translucent yellow magnetic effect, which is really cool. And you can use this both in alt mode and robot mode. In alt mode, which way does it go? You just tab it into the front like so. On my copy, both connection points for this piece are really tight. And there he is using his magnetic effect, which should have made him be able to rule all of Cybertron. That's about it for alt mode, so we'll go ahead and transform him up and we'll take a close look at his robot mode. So here we have Windcharger all transformed up into bot mode, and I think he looks pretty good. We'll just give you a 360 view of him. He's nice and clean for the most part, and pretty animation accurate. I mean, just about as much as you could probably get for a deluxe size Hasbro Transformer. Here he's from the side. A little messy down here in the feet, but we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, nice, clean, not even really a backpack to speak of, so that's pretty cool. I like the colors too. I like this like bluish periwinkle color. And of course he has the reds and that same periwinkle color, whatever you want to call it, is you see more of it now in bot mode, just like you did in the cartoon. And you got a nice crisp Autobot symbol, some hits of like a grayish blue down there in the crotch, some nice sculpted detail. You get the Windcharger, you know, his head sculpt, which I think looks a little bit too serious for Windcharger. I pictured him looking, you know, he looked a lot less serious usually in the show when he did make an appearance, but still a nice decent head sculpt. Articulation wise, his head can turn, his arms, well, due to transformation you can get almost a full T. That's supposed to stay down. His arms rotate. You got a bicep swivel, a little bit past 90, or maybe, no, I'll say 90 at the elbow. You get waist, you get kick forward, full splits, kick back. I will say, see, my copy, everything is really tight. You might have noticed that during transformation. Moving that piece, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So about 90, I think I can get a little more, around 90. He doesn't really have anything for the feet going on here, but he does have break an ankle tilt, or break a shin tilt, more like it. So yeah, he's pretty, oh, and he does, due to transformation, you can click his arms up and down, like an up and down hinge. Now, he does have a problem. He stands pretty stable, like so, but as you can see, he doesn't really have a heel, and this piece curves up like that. So while he does stand nice, he falls over very easily because there's nothing, no stability back there. But I mean, if you just stand him, he's fine. But as soon as you get anything, he falls back. So that's a little bit of a problem. And as I mentioned, during transformation, you might have seen me trying to mess with this piece to get it into place. There's like it's almost like a double hinge, and it's very, very tight and hard to move around. And it was a pain to plug it back into here when I transformed him into bot mode. Because as I said, so it's good to have like stiff joints and things, but also not that great when they're a little too stiff, and it makes the figure a little cumbersome to handle. We'll give him back his accessories so you can see how they go in bot mode. And again, really tight. It's like the tolerances. And like, I know we complain when things are too loose, but I think there's a fine line, and this guy is pretty tight in a lot of areas. Let's see how it goes. I forget, plugs into the chest, the magnetic effect. I think, yeah, this thicker piece. And there he is. All bots come to me, or go away from me, I will kill you all. For size comparison, we'll bring back in Brawn in his bot mode. And Bumblebee, and it did turn out I'm an idiot and I did mistransform B. And that's how they look together. Even though they're all mini bots, I always pictured Brawn, just because of his name and his character, to be a little bit taller when it comes to the mini bots. But here he is close to the same height. Brawn's head might be a little shorter if you go by the head. They still look really good together. So that is Studio Series 86 Windcharger. And once again, I'm going to rate him on the 3 F's, Form, Function, and Fun, my new rating system for 2026 that I debuted with the Quick Strike review, the Age of the Primes Quick Strike review. Form, for those that don't know, Form covers how a character looks in both vehicle and alt mode. Function covers things, transformation, articulation, so engineering, and the most important to me is fun, how fun a figure is. So we will start with Form. Form-wise, I think Windcharger looks pretty good in both vehicle and alt modes. I really love his alt mode. It's that classic look for the original Windcharger toy and the cartoon model. In bot mode, he's really nice too, pretty clean. Even the stuff behind on his legs don't really bother me. It thickens them up a bit, but it doesn't bother me. Nice clean like back area too. The only thing is he is a little hollow in the inside, but I love how you can see the wheels in there, and that doesn't bother me. Hollowness doesn't bother me as much as other people, unless it's really, really egregious or in a really bad spot, like if he had a gaping hole here, say, or something. But yeah, I really think it's cool how you can see his wheels in there. So yeah, for Form, I am going to give him, I think I'm going to give him an A-, just because I wish his head sculpt wasn't so serious. I mean, that's just a personal thing. So yeah, I'll give him an A- for Form. Function, on the other hand, is a different story. We'll start with transformation. I really enjoy his transformation. I think it is a fun transformation. It's not super complicated, but it's just fun to fiddle, you know, back and forth with him. The thing that hinders it to me is the tightness. At least on I can only go by my copy. The super tight, like a toiger. Anyway, the super tight joints make it sometimes a pain to transform him, and it shouldn't be that way, because it's a nice transformation, but pretty simple, made a little frustrating by the tightness. And again, it's I feel weird complaining about tightness of joints, because you don't want them super loose. But again, once again, I'll recall back, as you might have noticed in the transformation segment, this was really tight and a pain. And also in articulation, as we talked about when we looked at his bot mode, some of the tight joints make it a pain when you try to bend his knees. This likes to pop off. So with that, combined with also going back to the legs, his instability because of lack of heel spur. I wish this piece could have, they could have made it so it came down flat and collapsed in farther, and I think that would have fixed the problem. So sometimes when you're trying to pose him, it's hard to get him in a pose where he doesn't tilt back or fall right over. So for function, I'm going to have to give him, a B, because he does have nice articulation, and it might not be it might just be my copy that's super stiff, that kind of, lowers the grade a bit. But everybody has this, so I'm not going to excuse that at all. So I'm going to give him a B for function. As for the most important category in my book, at least fun, I really like that we get the magnetic effect accessory. You don't get a lot of these, type of power effects for Transformers. I really like that, so that adds to the play value, especially if you're taking pictures, setting up action shots or something. So pretty cool. As I said, he is fun to transform. I just wish the tolerances were a little better, so it wasn't as hard to move some of the parts. The main detriment, once again, that hinders his fun is, once again, it has to keep coming back to this. I'm sorry for harping on it, but that makes, posing sometimes a little frustrating. But overall, he looks good, and besides that major gripe, that is a pretty big gripe. He's a decent figure when you take that away, and I do enjoy him. So taking into account that hot mess, no heel spur hot mess, and the tightness on my copy, I'm going to give him a B+ for fun. I really enjoy the figure. No figure to me is perfect. There isn't a perfect figure out there, but I don't know how they didn't see that when they designed Windcharger as a problem. So B+ for me, and I think that's pretty fair. That will wrap up this review of the Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Windcharger. Comment to let me know what you think of him, and as always, thanks for docking.